Hey everyone, it's Calvin, also known as Robert. This is the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles Adventures, and we're I don't know why it's so funny that like the image we're looking at right now is a prison cell, but that's where we are now. I suppose that's what we're about to go into. I think we're about to go into the trial, which is kind of funny because we haven't had a chapter yet where we've gone from like investigation to trial. And in fairness, it wasn't much of an investigation. Like, I don't know, I didn't mean in like in terms of like how entertaining it was. It was great, but I feel like we don't have enough information whatsoever. I think we're gonna get a lot of information in the actual trial itself, which is fine. 20th of February, 9:23 a.m. The Old Bailey, defendants Adam and Jim. Excuse me very much. Let's go. Well, I never expected this. Who'd have thought we'd be back here again so soon? Yeah, it's like the next day, dude. It's like the next day. We're on a study tour of Great Britain with the intention of learning the country's legal practices. In order to research the latest court procedures here, we need as much court experience as possible. Well, yes, I suppose that's true, but for the person in the dock, it may as well be his or her one and only time in court, and it could be life-changing. That's the thing. It's like, it's not like a student who's learned to cut hair. You know what I mean? It's a very big deal. It's a very big deal. In which case, treating it as research may seem a little crass. Oh, when you put it like that, you're quite right. Good morning? Oh, here he is. He doesn't look like he slept a bit. Mr. Natsume, good morning. He's very paranoid. Which makes sense, because he did say that like living in England for a year has made him very paranoid of people talking about him behind his back. Oh dear, are you alright? Your eyes are terribly bloodshot. Yeah, I noticed that too. The early bird catches a worm, as they say here in Britain. Yes, I've heard that expression. But I really don't want to catch a worm. So I tried desperately not to wake up early, but I was so worried I couldn't catch a wink. And now I'm absolutely exhausted as a result. Do all literary people take things so literally? Thank you for putting your faith in us today, Mr. Natsume. I wish I had 9 lives. My whole future hangs in the balance. I'm too terrified, too tremble. Really? Because I can feel tremors in the floor. I can't do this. I can't take this. Although, welcome student Mr. Naruto Esquire. Yes? I caught a glimpse of the public gallery as I walked by the courtroom. It looked like the opening of night of an opera. There were so many people. I had no idea my case was was a notorious affair here in London. Oh, neither did I. But I guess it is a Japanese man stabbing a British woman. Do you know why that might be, Mrs. Otto? I'm sorry, Mr. Naruto, but I have no idea. So that all-knowing look on your face is just coincidence then? Is it? And she's like, Don't hide the truth from me. It's because of the Reaper, isn't it? Lord Van Zeeks. Is that right, Mrs. Otto? I purchased as many different newspapers as I could find this morning, and yes, Lord Van Zeeks is on the front page of every one. I knew it. Sometime after the prosecutor was dubbed the Reaper of the Bailey, he stopped appearing in court, it seems. It's been several years now, in fact, until the day before yesterday. Yes, Inspector Gregson told us something similar, didn't he? The trial 2 days ago marked Lord Van Zeek's return to the courtroom after a very long hiatus. The trial of Magnus McGilded. Oh, what a harrowing experience that was. I believe that appearance made even greater waves here in the capital than today's. But we wouldn't have realized, of course, having only just arrived in the country. Why is the Reaper back in the Bailey so soon for what appears to be a mundane murder? That's the question papers are asking, and they're all speculating various answers. Mundane! Mundane! It's the most significant saga of the century to some of us! Like, to you, for sure. Oh dear, I meant no offense, Mr. Natsume, but that is how the papers are describing it. Well, lest we forget the fact that it could spark an international incident. Obviously, the reaperance of this infamous prosecutor has caught people's attention. But there's another blatant similarity with the trial of 2 days ago. Yes, I agree. Welcome, student Mr. Naruto Esquire. It's you! Me? Well, I suppose that's true. Both times, it is you who stand against this legendary prosecutor. It can only mean that you're friends with the Reaper. No, I'm not. I don't rub shoulders with Deathbringers. I'm afraid that there's really only one other explanation. It can only be another example, listener, of your uncommon bad luck. Thanks for that. Oh, this is just my luck. Why must I be represented by a man with such fair fortune? But the least lucky lawyer alive. But here's the thing, dude. Like, you're pretty lucky to have anyone at this stage. Well, let's not forget that it was you, Mr. Natsumi, asked me to represent you. Yes, it's true that I'm just a student new to London with a little in the way of experience or skills or luck. But I promise you this. I will fight your corner onto the bitter end. And I will believe in you, Mr. Natsume. Benevolent locum student, Mr. Naruto Esquire. You're not alone here with us, Mr. Natsume. Whatever happens, we will always be on your side. Oh, benevolent long non-locum assistant Miss Mikataba Esquire, SSOS Esquire S. I'm in your debt forever. I shall never forget this kindness. Oh God, okay, here we go, we're getting interrupted. Much not so, mate. Nipple hat for the defense. The court session is about to begin. Kindly make your way to the courtroom at once. Here we go. Alright then, Mr. Natsume, it's time. Let's go. Yeah. Yes! I hope he's ready. I hope he's ready in some form. Because I'm barely ready. Let's go. My second appearance in a British courtroom. And my second trial against the Reaper. I hope you're watching over me, Kazuma. Because this time, I won't let my faith waver. I'll believe in my client to the last. Just like you believed in me. I believe I can do this now. I'm ready for this fight. Imagine it said to be continued. 20th of February, 10 a.m. The Old Bailey courtroom. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. No. That is not a good jury. Hold on a second. In her name, Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. The prosecution is fully prepared, my lord. The defense is ready, my lord. The Nipponese are a truly fascinating breed. Sorry, what? Lord Strongheart has told me all about you. That you were a student who arrived in London but 2 days ago, a mere amateur. Do you have a point? Being a compatriot, you feel compelled to try help the accused, I suppose. Typical Nipponese arrogance. Forgive me, but I do not believe arrogance is an appropriate description. Suzaru-san. After all, at our previous encounter, the defendant was found to be innocent. Very true. And a most fascinating if dark trial it was too. I burned someone alive. I did it. The trial conclusion came later, of course. Here's to the acquitted, and his unfortunate violent end. Hear, hear. That is not a good... Look who's on the jury! Look at... There's someone who... Oh, no. No, you need to... I request a different jury, please? Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, are you ready to carry out your duties here in court as impartial members of the public? And he's the foreman! He's the foreman! He's the foreman! The guy who was involved and was a suspect pretty much in the last case, who I had arguments with. No, this is not right. This is dumb. This is so stupid. You never know when you might be down on your luck, but I believe in fair play for everyone. Yeah, right, me arse.
Well, I must warn you, I'm rather more brutish than I appear.
Oh well, not me. What you see is what you get. I'm a peace-loving fellow. You look like you jumped out of Animal Crossing. I'm afraid to say it. What? She's here too! I didn't even notice! No! That's not right either. She was literally living in the same building as the man who was accused. This is not a good jury. That's not public opinion at that stage. This is actually dumb. I refuse. That's the end of the series. I'm not doing this. Guys, like, you... This is... Oh, no. No! That's not how this works!
Well, Calvin, actually, back in the day, you could... But I don't care! I don't care! Look at this!
Come on. What are we waiting for? No doubt he did it anyway. Ah, sorry. Didn't quite catch that.
This is so silly, Judge. Very well, I'll proceed into... Oh, I'm gonna kill you.
Your opening statement, if you please, Don Van Zeeks.
Very recently, Great Britain signed an alliance with the rising power. In the Far East, the accused in the dock today is a student from that same land, a certain Mr. Sozeki Natsume. And while our country has extended this foreign student the warmest of welcomes, regrettably, the kindness has not been returned. In fact, the student is accused of a most sinister act. There's been no warm welcomes for any Japanese people coming in here, I'm sorry. Of plunging a knife into the back of an innocent woman who was doing nothing but walking down the street. We don't know, allegedly walking down the street. She could have been planning to blow up the world.
A knife crab. I'll tell you from bitter experience, those are the worst. Bloody out they are.
You should not be here. You should not be here.
Just look at that swallow complexion and short stature. He's one of those dreadful Japanese.
You're a nasty piece of work as well, lady.
Come on, let's get this over with. With me now, everyone. 1, 2, 3.
Sorry, didn't quite catch that.
Pray, forgive the discourtesy of smashing my hollow chalice here in this great chamber.
Lord Van Zeeks.
Allow me to call the first witness to the stand.
Very well. Bailiff, lead the inspector in, please.
The inspector? Oh, Inspector Gregson. Greatest design in the history of video games. Your name and occupation, please.
Yes, sir. Tobias Gregson, Detective Inspector at the Scotland Yard.
Would you please summarize the events of the case for the court, Inspector?
The victim is thought to be a young woman in her 20s by the name of Olive Green. I beg your pardon, Inspector? Thought to be? Yes, having been stabbed in the back by an attacker's knife, the victim fell unconscious. That was 3 days ago now, and she's been in a comatose ever since.
I don't wanna feel fucking give me comatose. Come on, save me. She tells me what she wants.
Such a good song. What? So they don't even know who she is for sure?
Comatose, I see. But her life is not in danger?
Fortunately for the Eastern student, the charge will not be murder. Pray elaborate on the details, Inspector.
Sir, if I get someone to look at the street map.
No.
As I mentioned, the incident took place 3 days ago at around 5 in the afternoon. It happened on the pavement running along Samborough Road, a wide thoroughfare, 4-horse drawn vehicle. It had not long since stopped snowing, as the victim, Miss Green, was walking down the street. And now this is just a picture of Miss Green. It's like a little representation. It's not what she looks like, just so everyone knows. And this is also not our man as well, Sozeki. He's more Japanese, in fact. Out of the blue, she was approached from behind by the accused and stabbed in the back. Luckily, the young lady's life was spared, and she's currently being treated in one of the city's hospitals. But being unconscious as she is, we were unable to take a statement from her, of course. This is the case file with everything we know about the victim so far. Thank you, Inspector. The court will accept the documents as evidence, if you please.
The file contained an overview of the case and details about the victim. She was found with a knife in her back and currently in hospital to regain consciousness. What of the weapon that was used?
Sure. I have it here. It was removed from the victim's back.
Ouch, that big thing is starting to make me scared to walk down the street now. With a heavy blade like that, it's almost anybody would have been able to stab that poor woman. Even the scragged-looking Soseki-san, I suppose.
A common or garden jackknife, I would say. Rather nondescript. Thank you, Inspector. The court accepts the blade as evidence.
The jackknife has been entered into the court record. A large but commonplace folding knife was found in the lodge victim's back. We'll check that right away when we can.
Now then, what do we know with the motive? Money or valuables, I presume? From what we can tell, by looking at the woman's possessions, it seems like she's a poor student herself. Hard to imagine she would have anything much worth pinching, my lord. I see. Well, in that case, we are looking at some deep-seated resentment towards the victim. I'm afraid I couldn't say. Apart from visiting second-hand bookshops, the defendant, Mr. Natsumi, doesn't appear to get out much. At this moment in time, we haven't been able to establish any sort of connection between him and the victim.
There we go. So we'll let him off free. Can I go to the bathroom? If theft and grievance had been ruled out as the motive, what reason could Mr. Natsumi possibly had for stabbing the young woman? Yet you arrested the man in spite of that, in a totally unjustified and heavy-handed way.
Objection.
My eye!
My leg! Pray forgive the discourtesy of flinging a freshly uncorked bottle into the public gallery. Yeah, you should be arrested now. But your words have soured.
Calvin, you let Von Karma whip people.
Yeah, I do. And she'll whip you in a second and she'll whip me. One of us will enjoy it though. But your words have soured this hollow bouquet. For it is you, my learned friend, who is being heavy-handed here. What? Scotland Yard does not arrest people without good cause. That should be beyond question. Inspector Gregson, the prosecution calls for your formal testimony. So how did the British police get worse though? Because nowadays people do arrest people without cause. So I wonder how they got worse. Explain to the court precisely why the constabulary came to the arrest of the Nipponese student.
Oh yeah, sure.
I'm going to check out the evidence first of all, by the way, guys, before we do anything. Mr. Natsumi's arrest, let's check out the court record. So we have a knife. Jeez, that's a big freaking knife. There's no like... Wait. There's no like... So you can put it back in. Is that it? Okay, this wasn't important. We're never checking evidence again. What's this one again? Oh, the receipts for the books. Okay, to son of 2 shillings tender receipt of a picture of Monsieur Lecoq. A meal for Gabaru. I actually have a French student in my homework club, and she's fantastic. Taught me that my name was Calvin. Yeah, so there you go. Hello everyone, this is Calvin, also known as Romer. As I said, it was 5 o'clock in the afternoon when the incident occurred, and there was an unusually light fog. Okay, we don't need to press that. Visibility was reasonably good, and there was no one else there about but the victim and the accused. I don't think we need to press that because we know there's no way we can tell. Like, they're not going to give us up information about a victim being about someone else being there.
Out of the blue, the victim was stabbed from behind and subsequently collapsed on the pavement.
We can press that.
The accused ran off, scattering his belongings all over the floor.
Okay.
Those being a number of old books he just bought. He was on his way home from the bookshop, it seems.
We can press the last 3 statements for sure. For sure.
It was just a matter of working out who the books belonged to, and we found the bloke to arrest him. Old books, you say? Yes, my lord. I have a photograph here of the scene of the crime, taken immediately after the incident. Put on Snapchat, I did.
Yes.
I can clearly see the books to which you are referring. I will take that photographic print as evidence, please, Inspector.
The crime scene photograph has been entered into the court record.
You Nipponese are a spineless breed, too cowardly to admit defeat. Denying everything despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary.
Well, Forgive me, Lord Van Zeeks, but the defendant is not denying everything as you put it. What do you do, Mrs. Otto?
Do go on.
Mr. Natsumi has admitted to playing some part in the incident. Isn't that right, Mr. Naruto? Well, now did you mention it? When we visited him in the prison yesterday, he did tell us yeah, he explained it. He explained, running away.
As I was walking along that accursed pavement, I could make out the sole silhouette of another head of me. A woman wearing a green overcoat, she was. And just as I went to overtake her, she suddenly let out a little scream and collapsed onto the cold, hard slabs of my stone on my feet. I was terrified. I had to get away from there. So I ran as fast as my legs would carry me back to my accursed lodgings.
A green overcoat.
Imagine that was his voice instead.
A green overcoat?
What exactly, that's exactly what the woman in the print was wearing.
Oh my, a photographic print in full color. What will the world come with next?
The defendant does nothing more than admit he fled the scene of a terrifying incident. That does not mean he's guilty of the heinous crime of stabbing the woman in the back. End this trial right now.
There was nobody else there at the time, just the two of them, the victim and the accused. In other words, there's nobody else who could possibly have stabbed the woman. A fact that the accused concedes. It seems this cross-examination could prove to be pivotal, counsel. Proceed, please.
Yes, my lord. Nothing for it. I have to use the cross-examination to turn the tables here. It's our only chance. Okay, so we said we pressed what? Like, statement 3, 4, 5, was it? I think that's all we were pressing. 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay, let's try to press this one. Hold it! Hold it right there! Aren't you British? So, really, who's in the wrong here? From behind, you say?
That's right. As you can see from this print. Yes, quite so, Inspector. The handle of the weapon is clearly protruding from the victim's back. And as you say, the poor woman, Miss Green, remains in critical condition, comatose no less. I'm afraid so, my lord, yes. She's been treated as Bart. I was hopeful that she'd come around before the trial started so I could take a statement, but it wasn't to be. Yes, that is indeed a pity. It would have been most illuminating to hear a victim's own account of events.
Luck is on your client's side, it seems. On the contrary, my client has been exceedingly unlucky.
Your forcive tone is seriously undermined by those disturbingly wide eyes, I'm afraid.
Well, your tone is undermined by the fact that you threw a bottle of wine into a 6 months pregnant lady up there. Very uncool. Not very cool of you. Ugh.
The accused ran off, scattering his belongings all over the floor.
Hold it!
How do you know they're his belongings, huh? Mr. Natsumi's belongings,
I think you find it's all there in the photographic print of the crime scene. Yes, 3 books on the floor. That's right, my lord. The second-hand books were irreparably damaged after falling in the snow, of course.
The accused could easily have carried all 3 books in one hand, which means his other hand would have been free to wield a knife, for example. That's just like, you're just making up stuff now. Who carries 3 books in one hand? Nobody. You carry them together, like cradling them like you're like you're like in a movie. That's what you do. He's very clever, isn't he? No, he's not, Suzato. We hate him. He's made it extremely hard for you to assert that Mr. Natsumi had his hands full with his books. No, he does. I could say the same thing. Your Honor, actually, everyone carries books with 2 hands.
Oh, that's right, of course.
Actually, it's 1 hand, sir.
That's right.
He's managed to close the one avenue of escape he might have had before he even knew it was there. No, he didn't. He's just a bullshitter and he's a terrible jury. I don't like him anymore because like he scares me. You mean to say the defendant was holding his belongings as he thrusts his knife into the woman's back? Can you imagine holding your books and going, ka-cha! Like, I got books and a knife. Ka-choo, ka-choo. Like, why would you do that? Why would you aim to stab someone on a date and also bring your books along with you and then leave your books behind if it was premeditated? That doesn't make any sense. That's like me doing the shopping and like going down and getting like my tomatoes, my peppers, my pasta, all this stuff, and I'm like, oh great, okay, did some shopping. Oh, now I gotta stag Johnny. You know, it's time for this to happen. Like, and I do it while I'm planning shopping. That doesn't sound very premeditated. You know what I mean?
There's been a number of old books she just bought on his way home from the old bookstore, it seems.
I mean, we can press this. The defendant apparently visits a second-hand bookshop on a daily basis.
Yes, so I understand. A shop full of old English literature.
I commend the accused on the lofty subject matter of his scholarly attention.
The bloke's room was stacked full as to the ceiling with those musty old books.
Can you tell us more about the bookshop in question, please, Inspector?
Well, if I must, I'll have to ask you to look at the street map again, I'm afraid. Now remember, the character designs are a bit off. The closest second-hand bookshop to the accused lodgings is a place here called Bourbon Books. A little place on the corner of Broad Road and Meerschaum Street. As it happens, the accused is currently living in lodgings on the other side of Broad Road at the opposite end, which means it doesn't take a genius to work out the route he would have taken out. Something like this.
The local map's information has been updated in the court record.
Yes, I concur with your conclusion, Inspector. The defendants would certainly have passed the scene of the crime on the way home from that particular shop.
Judge, you can't stop being on their side. I feel very one-sided here. Mr. Naruto, I think that what the inspector just told us could turn out to be vital of importance. Really? Yes, I agree. Yes, me too. The most important point that the inspector just made being the bookshop's... Well, the location's not important. I think maybe the name is probably more important than the location. But I think the stock doesn't matter. The location, like, yeah, whatever. You could walk to a bookstore. We'll say the name. I'd say you could, you know, it doesn't matter where the location is. Inspector Gregson, may I ask you a favor?
Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth, boy. What?
Would you kindly add the name of the bookshop to your formal testimony, please? I believe it may be of some vital importance.
Maybe?
Oh, well, you know, I mean, yes, it could be a very important clue.
Very well, not that I can see it being of any greater significance, but please revise your testimony accordingly, Inspector. Yes, sir, my lord, whatever you say.
Could the man be any more sardonic? Not a big fan of sardonic people, anyway.
He was on his way home from Bourbon Books, a second-hand bookstore which he apparently patronizes.
So is this the new statement that we have to ask? Like, should we then press this? So the shop is called Bourbon Books, is it?
That's right. That's the closest second-hand bookshop to the accused lodgings. And to get from there back to his room, he would have gone right past the very spot where the incident took place.
If I could just confirm one point, can we be sure that the defendant really did visit Bourbon Books on the day in question? Let's check the court record for a second. What does the receipt say? Your books. He went to your books. Not my books, your books.
Well, we haven't actually confirmed it, no. You haven't confirmed it? Why the devil not, Inspector? Well, the thing is, the shopkeeper's gone on a trip, you see. Left the morning after the incident to collect more stock, I'm told. So we, haven't been able to ask the bloke if the accused visited the shop on the day in question or not.
What did the defendant himself have to say about it? No recollection. What? According to the statement he made at the time, the accused has no recollection of where he'd been. Of course he doesn't.
The bloke clearly has his head in the clouds whenever he's walking about town. He claims he just wanders into whatever bookshop he happens to be passing and rarely notices the name. I should say the man ought to learn to look where he's going at the very least.
So, it's just as I thought then. Is something the matter?
Inspector, you may continue with your testimony.
Wait, so he went to your books? So we have to go back to the previous statement and present the your books receipt.
Objection!
Objection! If I could just stop you there, Inspector Gregson.
What is it, sunshine? I'm a busy man, you know.
This is a receipt we found in Mr. Nasumi's room. It was issued on the day of the incident and details the purchase of 3 second-hand books.
And you found that in the accused room, did you?
Yes, but the point is not where the receipt was found, but the name of the shop printed on it.
Go on.
Did you just say go mom? Now who's the crazy one? This receipt was issued from a bookshop called Your Books.
Your, I presume. Y-O-R-E, I presume.
Yes, my lord. So Miss Nelson, we did indeed purchase a number of books at a second-hand bookshop that day. However, the bookshop in question was not Bourbon Books.
What? Inspector, do you know of this other bookshop? Yes, sir. The old books is on the second bookshop, not far from Bourbon Books. It's just that, well, it's such a small place, I didn't think the accused would have known about it.
But in fact, that is the bookshop which the defendant visited on the day in question. And this receipt proves it.
Objection!
Don't object.
Yes, for what difference it makes. Wherever the man purchases musty tomes, it makes no difference to final analysis. Oh, it does. Oh, I object right back at this boy.
I disagree. I mean, after all, I have a street map here if that might be of help. Yes, thank you so much, Sasato. Have a look at this, please. If the defendant had been returning from Bourbon Books, then yes, he would almost certainly have passed the place where Miss Green was attacked. However, if we take into account the fact that he was actually at the another bookshop, Your Books, it may very well turn out that he wouldn't have passed the location at all.
Could that be true?
My, it rather depends on where the other bookshop is, but I do declare it might be a possibility.
Now, none of you do the fire thing until you're sure, okay? I'm not dealing with the fire thing this time, you hear me? In fact, I will literally take all of you outside individually and jump you. You look like Brandon Jones. Blonde Brandon Jones.
Is that right, Mr. Lawyer, sir? What you just said?
Absolutely, that would hurt my neck if I did that. I think I'm just very weak. It absolutely could be right.
Mr. Gregson, from behind you look fabulous. Inspector Gregson, where is this Your Book establishment? Well, obviously we looked into that. It turns out that Your Books is just here on the next corner.
Wait a second. Okay, I don't mean to kill myself in my own trial here, but it'd be way less time. Would it be? It'd be the same distance, would it? I think it's way less. It's way easier to go past Bourbon Books to Your Books. Because then you have to pass Calabash Road. It's a way longer distance. So yeah, they're still right. You still would have passed by Bourbon Books if I was going the short way. Depends on if you want to go for a walk or something. The local map information is added. Yeah, okay. I don't know. I still think we're in trouble. No, I think it's a shorter distance. And then wait, hold on a second. Let's see this out. Okay, so okay. I'm gonna press up. I'm gonna tap up on this. Okay. We're gonna do this. Okay. I'm gonna tap up and then just one at a time. I'm gonna see how many ups it takes us to get there. Okay. So I might be wrong. So it's 1. I know we'll start from the house, of course. Here. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 15 to get to the store from that side. So I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It's the same amount of time. It's the same amount of ups. Your Honor, it's the same amount of ups. He's like, what? Your Honor, the ups, same amount, please. And there you have it, as you can clearly see now. Oh.
My little Nipponese friend is obviously in training to be a clown the way he regales us with such witticisms. In fact, about it, actually. To your future career in the circus, thanks.
You put that glass down now, or I'll put it down for you. Oh, Susato, get him!
I didn't think I need to spell it out, but here we go. If the accuser's coming home from Your Books instead of Bourbon Books, there's no doubt he still would have passed the place where the victim was stabbed. Yes, thank you, Inspector. Ugh. Allow me to reiterate from my learned, if somewhat slow Nipponese friend.
Susato, get him. Stop that. Stop that. It's not cool. Wherever the man purchases musty tones, it makes no difference to the final analyses. Oh man, repeating words as well, like that hurts.
As I suspected, you can't fool me, and don't suggest you try. What'd he say? I've had enough of this now.
Beg your pardon? Terribly sorry, but would you mind repeating that?
Miss Naruto, we mustn't give up. What do you mean? If the prosecution's assertion is correct, the members of the jury may well decide that Mr. Natsumi is guilty. She's absolutely right. We must think. We must consider the assertion just put forward by the prosecution very, very carefully. The claim that Sasaki-san must have passed the location of the incident on the way home from your books. Right, yeah, let's do it. If we're wrong, we're wrong. Who cares? We're gonna lose one life. The assertion just made by the prosecution is fundamentally flawed.
Explain yourself, counsel.
I don't think I have to. I don't think I have to explain myself to anyone. I don't. My mom says I want to explain myself to God. You can see what I mean on this map. We returned from your books to his lodgings. Mr. Natsumi could have followed the route suggested by the prosecution. However, that isn't the only conceivable route to take between the two places. The defendant uses. Oh, so if that's how you enter in the store, it's even longer to get. Hold on a second. If that's how it is to get the store, like literally look right. It's even longer to go this way. So why would he go the longer way? This is not a good piece of evidence, Ryunosuke. He arrives back at his lodgings without passing the location where the victim was attacked. Actually, I like to go in like circular motions in town. So like I don't know if it's just something like in me that's wrong with me, but I hate the idea of passing through a place like twice sometimes. And also like I also hate the idea of like going to like a ping pong motion, right, where someone goes to one place and then goes back to another. Like the way my city is kind of made up is that I can actually like there's so many like intricate alleyways and roads and stuff like that like you could walk down towards a shop and then go like 10 different completely ways to get to the same place. It's actually kind of cool. So maybe it's just where I live. He arrives back in the lodge without passing the location where the victim was attacked. I don't know, maybe it's just, I don't know, the way I live, place I live. Talking back to a clown is a fool's errand, of course. However, I feel compelled to point out that the route is what is commonly referred to as the long way round. On a cold winter's night, why would any man choose to take the longer route home? Well, the answer is extremely simple. He wouldn't, in other words. The accused took the obvious route back to his lodgings and the obvious perpetrator of this crime. But! Yes, I've got it. Obviously, you must ask the man himself, Mr. Natsumi, which route he took home. I've already informed the court of the accused's response to such question. He claims he has no recollection. That's bad. That's right, as I said, the bloke seems to spend his time outside wandering aimlessly from A to B. That day was no exception. He says he doesn't remember where he was or which route he took home. I don't believe this. I thank you, my learned friend, and suggest that we do not waste any more of the court's time by wandering aimlessly around this subject. Pray, what you say, insightful jurors. But even if that is the case, the defense still... Who's holding it? Which one? Which one? Oh, it's all of them. Oh, it's the foreman, okay. I agree with Lord Van Zieks, of course you do. Wholeheartedly in every way. Get this guy off the juror stand. What? I don't believe it. Does this mean... I said don't do the fire thing if you're not convinced, okay? Judge, can we stop the fire thing? Very well, in that case, you will call upon all members of the jury to present your findings to the court.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Oh.
Guilty.
Oh my god.
Guilty.
Oh my god.
Guilty.
Oh, that's a different voice.
Guilty.
Oh, okay. I got 2 of the voices wrong, but I think I got 4 of those voices very right, guys. I'm just saying. Oh, it's over. Okay. We can go home.
It would appear that the jury's leaning is unanimous. To the insightful members of the jury, I applaud your brave resolve. You serve the Queen and country admirably. I'll do to the Queen. When I see the Queen, you better know what I'll do. Jump her. Mr. Man, imagine me seeing the Queen. Hey, Queen. Hey, how you doing, hey, Queenie?
Yes, what is it?
I'll have a gang with me as well. No, not yet. This isn't over yet. I still have one last chance to sway the opinion of the jury. Yeah, we can do this. We can do this. I'm not worried. Guys, I'm not worried. Like, it's not like a big moment where it's like, oh my god. I'm just not worried. Like this is fun, but like, I think, like, we just have to get these guys back on our side. That's all we have to do. Somehow. Yeah, we know what to do. Those are the eyes of Quarry, not yet willing to give up and die. So I presume you intend to wield your rights again in this trial? Right of the defense written into your antiquated British law that should have been buried long ago. Call it antiquated if you will, but it's the defense prerogative to carry out a summation examination if it so chooses.
Very well, Counsel. In accordance with the letter of the law, we shall proceed with the summation examination. Are the members of the jury ready, Mr. Foreman?
Of course you're ready. I'm all too familiar with that Nipponese whippersnapper and all of his... Yeah, you are familiar with me, aren't you? I can't believe he's even there.
Very well, then. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will explain on what grounds you have determined the defendant to be guilty.
Judicial findings. The jurors' contentions. And guys, very surprisingly so, we're going to end the episode here. We're back in the mode, I suppose, of recording videos at a shorter length, just because I'm heading back to work. Of course, I had some time off, so I recorded a bunch of very, very long episodes. I hope you did enjoy them. But like, I will have to head back to work. And also, like, this series, just being honest with you guys, and I'm not saying this to make you guys feel bad, because like, you guys are the best audience in the world. And I'm not just saying, like, when I say that, by the way, I always have evidence that it's not just me who says that. Like, everyone says that whenever they pass by my channel. They're like, how is your comment section so freaking nice? Apart from the Danganronpa comment section, there were some bad eggs, of course. But, basically, it rips. Yesterday, when I finished that 2-hour recording session for the last episode, my throat was just dead. Like, I remember for the whole day, I had to immediately drink some water. I made some food to get some energy back. I was dying. But still, I hope you guys have enjoyed what we've done so far. I've definitely enjoyed it, and I will see you guys very soon. This is such a beautiful scene as well. See you very soon, guys. Bye-bye.